Today was DJI's Adventures Unfold event. They released the Mavic Air, and in this video I'm going to go over it as quick as possible. At the start I'm just going to list off all the features so that anyone who wants to know that has it, and then at the end I'm going to go over and tell you my thoughts. So I was really excited about this, so let's get right into it. The Mavic Air looks like this. It has a 3-axis gimbal, 3-directional environmental sensing, forwards, downwards, backwards, a 21-minute max flight time which should get you about 18 minutes. It has a smart capture feature which is like the gesture control for the Spark. It has a 3-axis gimbal, a foldable design, and it takes 32 megapixel sphere panoramas. It shoots 4K video at 100 megabytes per second and 30 frames per second. It takes slow motion video at 1080p at 120 frames per second. It takes HDR photos, 12 megapixel stills with a 35mm equivalent focal length of 24. It has 8 gigabytes of internal storage. It comes in 3 colors, white, red, and black. That is what it looks like folded, and that is what it looks like expanded. The controller resembles the DJI Spark controller. It has active track which can sense up to 16 people. It has quick shots, 2 new ones including asteroid and boomerang. It has tap to fly, which is much more safe with the backwards obstacle avoidance. It has vision-based protection. It has better return to home, and it has in all a lot more sensors and is much more intelligent than the current Mavic Pro. It has a top speed of 68.4 kilometers an hour. It has enhanced Wi-Fi video transmission, and it has DJI goggle support. The battery is placed similar to the Spark. It has quick release removable props. It costs $799 US. And if you're going to purchase it, I would recommend getting the Fly More, as you save $113 and get extra batteries, props, chargers, and a power bank, as well as a travel case. That is the Mavic Air. So for anyone who just wanted to know what the Mavic Air is, I hope that helped. And now I'm just going to go over it in a bit more detail and give you my thoughts on what I think about it and what I think is to come in the future from DJI. So, just to start off here, I want to say that the Mavic Air is supposed to be in between the Mavic Pro and the Spark. Its price reflects that, its specs reflect that, and at the moment, I would say it's at par or even above the Mavic. But as we all know, the Mavic Pro 2 is supposed to be released later this year, and I'll get into that in another video that I'm working on right now. But for now, we'll just say it's in between the Mavic Pro and the Spark. So what I'm really liking about this is its size, because although the Mavic Pro, the current Mavic Pro, is still generally small, when it's unfolded, it still takes up a lot of room, and when it's flying around you get a lot of attention. It's loud, and although it's smaller than say a Phantom, it's still it's a decent size. Like when they're spinning and everything, it takes up a lot more room than you would think for a portable drone. So having a smaller one is actually quite a big deal, because a lot of people bought the Spark over the Mavic just because of that, even though they're missing out on the 4K and some other really nice features that the Mavic has. So now this brings those into the Mavic. It brings the features of the Mavic into the Spark. It's like a Spark Mavic baby or something. So that's really nice. And the size of it, it's smaller, and not just for keeping a low profile but also just for portability. It's smaller than this one, which is really cool for the amount of features packed into it. Now, as well as this, they added 3-directional environmental sensing, which is pretty cool. I kinda wish they had added side ones, which I'll speak about again in my Mavic Pro 2 video, which I will be coming out with soon. Backwards positioning is really good, because then when you are going backwards in active track and whatnot, or getting nice revealing shots, you're not going to hit anything. But a lot of the time you're flying sideways as well, and that's a lot of the time. If you watch any crash videos with Mavics and active track, it's pretty much always to the side, and I think that would have been a really good one for them to put in this, but I'll talk about it again in my other videos, so stay tuned for that. And to continue here, they added the smart capture, which I don't know, I think it's the same as what was in the Spark with the gesture control, with your I have the force thing, but it was kind of gimmicky. Like a lot of people say, it's just it's more of a party trick than something you'd use on a daily basis, but it's still pretty cool to be there. And it has a 21-minute max flight time, so you should expect about 17 to 20 maybe if you're lucky, and that's just in between the Mavic at 27 minutes and the Spark at 15. So to continue on here, it has a 3-axis gimbal with the vibration range reduction, which I think is really cool. Like I said, it has the 3-axis instead of the 2 on the Spark, which is nice. But the vibration reduction is really good, because if you can see that, the Mavic right now has a very shaky camera. It's held in there by little like threads almost, wires, ribbons, and this is $1,000 piece of machinery, and the camera is jiggling. So that'll be nice that'll be nice having that reduced, because that's kind of scary. Continuing on here, the 32 megapixel sphere panoramas is really cool. It says that it can take one in 8 seconds. I was using a Litchi app before. It took me about 5 minutes to take one, and now I'm on the DJI app and it takes about a minute. So 8 seconds, that would be amazing. I do them, as you can see, and that would just be amazing. So the 4K at 100 megabytes per second, you're seeing that right now on my Sony a6300. 30 frames per second, that makes sense. They have to keep it below par with what the Mavic Pro 2 will most likely have, which I think, I'm going over this more in another video, but I think it's going to be a 1-inch sensor with 4K at 60 frames per second. So keeping this at 4K 30 will leave room for improvement there. And about the 1080p at 120, I really hope that this is better than the current 96 frames per second on the Mavic, because as you can see in another video, they fixed the 60 frames per second in a hardware upgrade, but the 96 is just awful. It's blurry, it's soft, no detail, it's just unusable footage. So I hope when they say 120 frames per second, they mean decent 120 frames per second. HDR photos, you know what that is. It's pretty cool. It takes 2 photos, make sure nothing's over or underexposed. 12 megapixel stills, and the 8 gigabytes of internal storage is pretty cool, because for me, I still use the original SanDisk micro SD card that comes with the Mavic, and that lasts me about 1 battery if I record the whole time, with about 5 minutes of recording left, and I only have 1 battery, so that's perfect for me. But if I ever do get a second battery, or if I ever forget my micro SD card, because I am known to do that, having that 8 gigabytes in there would be pretty nice. So that's a nice touch. Continuing on here, it does look pretty cool, and it comes in the white, red, and black, like I said, but by far I think the black looks the coolest. And once again, this just shows off how small it is. Like if we take a look at the Mavic, the arms, as you can see, cross over each other. Like they go, one's going here and the other one's going here. On the Mavic Pro Air, or Mavic Air, sorry, they touch. They come up to each other, they don't overlap, which makes me think that it's just that much smaller, and those wings, when they expand, since they're only going halfway, they're not going to come out as far, so you're not going to get as big of a footprint, because that's what really makes the Mavic Pro right now really big, is because when the wings come out and the props come out, that's a lot more space taken up with all that. So if it's only half of that and the propeller is smaller, that makes a lot more sense for keeping a low profile, probably bring down noise as well, just because it's smaller. So continuing here, it's got a Spark remote pretty much, doesn't have the controller, which I think is pretty nice, because DJI Go 4 is known to crash, and when you don't know if you're far away or whatever, you should be in line of sight, but if something were to happen, you would want to have the screen just to see what's going on, but without it, you know, with the advanced intelligent flight modes and autopilot almost, it will have a lot better return to home with those extra sensors. So active track with 16 people, I'm not sure what that would be used for. I can't really see you keeping 16 people in the frame at once, but it's there, so it's pretty cool. You can just see how much more hardware is in these. Asteroid and Boomerang are pretty cool. I'm sure they'll go to most of the DJI drones eventually, like the current Mavic. I think Asteroid's pretty cool. Boomerang's pretty cool as well, but Asteroid, it kind of goes from a little planet into a drone shot, which is pretty neat. Smart capture, like I said, kind of gimmicky. Tap to fly should be better with the extra vision positioning and everything and the sensors. Yeah, it's just, in all, it's just going to have a lot more, it's going to be a lot more safe and stable when you're flying. You're not going to have to worry as much, but when you're piloting it, you're always going to have to be on guard. I don't think there'll ever come a time where you won't have to worry about something. But yeah, so 68.4 kilometers an hour is the top speed. I think that's faster than the Mavic. I'll have to put it up somewhere here. Enhanced Wi-Fi video transmission, that's pretty cool. For Wi-Fi up to 4 kilometers, that's crazy. DJI goggle support's pretty cool. And the battery kind of goes in it like the Spark does. Quick release props like always. So yeah. So just taking a look at it here, I'll just go over it one more time. If you're going to buy this, get the Fly More. I didn't buy the Fly More, and it would be nice to have more batteries. So if you're going to buy this, I really recommend getting the Fly More. For an extra $200 when it's already going to be $8, you're getting a lot of stuff. You're saving $113 just on the package, plus how much you save if you were to buy the things individually. So if you're going to buy it, if you're going to put out this kind of money, put out the extra $200. I'm guaranteeing you it's worth it. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Mavic Air. I think it's a really good addition to the Mavic series. If I were to buy mine again, or the Mavic Air, I think I would get it, even though it's cheaper and you would suspect that it is not as good, but it has all the features of the Mavic and more, and it's smaller. So I can't see any reason you wouldn't want this one. If I ever upgrade in the future, I'm pretty sure I will go for the Mavic Pro 2, just because of what I am going over in another video about the 4K at 60 and everything, just so many more features, and hopefully they can make it smaller as well. But for the Mavic Air, if you're going to buy this or a Mavic Pro, I would recommend going for this, unless there is a significant price drop in the Mavics to like 600 or something. Go for this. It's cheaper right now, and you're getting more. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Mavic Air. I'm looking forward to maybe doing a review in the future if I ever have the chance. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in my next video.
Action.